Hello and welcome to T-shirt design course, lesson number 8, creating a hot selling t-shirt. So let's go ahead and get started with the class. So let us go ahead and first create our artboard or our document for this lesson. Now let's go to create new, A4 size, or you can go to print over here and then select A4 and then let's create. And now we have our artboard. Now, first of all, let's go ahead and create our design for the t-shirt, for a hot selling t-shirt. Now, a hot selling t-shirt is basically a t-shirt which can be sold pretty high. It's perfect for tourist places. So let's just say you go near a beach and you have a volleyball, or you have a beach party, or you have the scenario of a beach printed on your t-shirt, or the design of that scenario. And then so if you were to sell that near a beach in that tourist area, then it would become a hot selling t-shirt, because anyone who would go to the stalls there would like it and they would purchase it. So for this lesson, I'm going to make a design which consists of New York, for the New York City. So let's go ahead and create a design based on New York. So first we need our text. I'll select for the no fill and for the stroke only for text. So I'm going to select the text tool over here, then type in Brooklyn first, in capital letter, Brook, L-Y-N. There you go. Now let us go ahead and change. First, increase it and realign it to the center of our artboard over here. Now for the design, let's go for let's say this font over here. I'm going to realign it again. There you go. And then I'm going to increase its size. But now this text I want it so that it's like a headline, and then New York will be on the bottom. But this text is too much eye-catching. So let's go for something simple. Let's go for impact. There you go. And let's lower down the size. There you go. Now I'm going to place it there. Now let's add another text. New York. Now the New York here, I do not want it to be in full letters, so I'm going to go ahead and type in only NYC. Brooklyn, NYC. Now the NYC will be as big as like this, but I want Brooklyn to be much more bigger. So let me increase it and NYC as well. Now, as you can see, Brooklyn still looks too much eye-catching for NYC. So I'm going to change the font again to something which is less thick, not that much bold, normal. But yet this works. This works perfectly. So I'm going to realign it to the center over here. And then NYC. Now I want to lower down it and move it towards the right a bit. You will understand why I moved it towards the right a bit. I want NYC to be realigned at the center, but a little bit smaller. There you go. And realigning it to Brooklyn over here. There you go. Over here. Now I would want to use the star tool, make a star about this, and then copy the star by holding down Alt, dragging it, and then releasing it. Then I'm gonna press Ctrl D. But before Ctrl D, let me copy it again. And then if I press Ctrl D again, it's going to copy and do the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to select all of this. Then using Alt again, I'm going to copy it down below over here. There you go. And then if I were to, I need another one. There you go. Now I'm going to group all of this together by pressing Ctrl G. And once that is grouped, I'm going to remove it like this. There you go. And the NYC over here. There you go. Now I want to align the B and the N for these two, but as their text, I'm not going to do anything. But before that, I'm going to select NYC over here. There you go. And select the stroke for white. There you go. Now there's a reason why I add the stroke as white. You'll understand later on. But before that, I would want to select the line tool over here. Select the fill as no fill and select the stroke color as black. There you go. And then create a straight line like this. Now I'm going to select the straight line over here. Copy it down below like that. And then press Ctrl D to make several copies of it. There you go. Now I'm going to select all of this and then move it towards the center over here so that everything here realigns perfectly. Now this is where the NYC. Now if you're looking at your artboard like this, and if you're seeing that if you want to select NYC, but NYC, as you can see, is not being selected over here, there's another way you can select it. You can go by the layers over here. NYC, as you can see. So if I were to say press on this circle over here, then I'll be able to select it. Now for the, I have added a white layer, a white stroke to it. Now you cannot see the white stroke because it's below the layer. So I'll take it on the top layer over here. Then you can see the stroke. And as you can see, because of the stroke, NYC looks much more clean and sharp. So I'm going to go ahead and select NYC and change the stroke and increase the stroke to 2. I'll do the same thing for Brooklyn. I'm going to select Brooklyn and then move it on to top of the layer below NYC. And then the same case for Brooklyn, I'm going to add a stroke to it. And as Brooklyn is already in very small letters, then NYC not that much bold. So I'll keep Brooklyn as it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and select the stars over here and also give them a stroke. There you go. And once they have been attained or attached with a stroke, I'm going to go ahead and select that and also put this on top of the lines. There you go. And I'm going to select the lines over here and group them together so that it's much more easier to manage them. There you go. Now we have a somewhat decent design over here, but we want to add some variations to it. Like, for example, as I mentioned before, for a tourist place. Now, Brooklyn, NYC. People who are outside of New York are going to understand Brooklyn, but most of them might not understand what NYC stands for. So we are going to add a New York City on the right side over here as text. So I'm going to go ahead and use the text tool over here and type in New York City. There you go. Now I'm going to select this and realign it so that it's from the left side. Add a white stroke to it. There you go. Sorry, the color will be black over here. This color is black. This color, let me try to see. Let me try to increase. There you go. So I'm going to add the color white. Now using the selection tool, I want to see, yes, it's there. As you can see, it's selected there on the top. So I'm going to move it over here and increase its scale so that it fits on this side. I think this is perfect. Now I'm going to select Brooklyn again and increase it so that it matches that part. There you go. Now what I'm going to do with Brooklyn, after selecting it, I'm going to go to object and I'm going to expand it. Okay, once I've expanded it, this is now a vector object instead of a text. Now why I did this, there's a reason behind it. It's because I want to align Brooklyn and NYC over here in the same position so that it looks much more natural. So I'm going to do the same thing with NYC. I'm going to go to object, I'm going to go to expand and okay. Now this is also a vector object now. Now I'm going to align it so that it perfectly aligns here. There you go. It perfectly aligned there. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this New York City over here. So I'm going to go ahead, go to object, go to expand. Okay, now that's also the same. Now I am going to align it towards the left here. Now, if you want to perfectly align it, outside of using a guideline, so you can press Ctrl R to open up a scale, and you can press and hold down from the scale over here to put down a guideline. There you go. You can right click on the guide and you can unlock guides. You can also delete the guides as well by going to view over here and going to guides and then clear guides. But I'm just using the guide right now, like on N over here for Brooklyn, so that I can realign the New York City over here perfectly towards the guideline like this, as you see. Now that will look much more crisp and much more clearer in your design. So I'm going to go ahead, go to view, go to guides, and then clear guides for now. And as you can see, there you go. Now that's done. Now I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to group all of them together. Now all of them are grouped together. I'm going to select it and I'm going to realign it. So I'm going to go to Windows, go to Alignment. Align, there you go. The Align tool will pop up. Let me put it over there so that I can access it much more perfectly. So I'm going to align it towards the center of our design over here. Now I'm going to select all of this and then press Ctrl Shift and G to ungroup them. Now everything is ungrouped again. Now let's try to add a background to it. Now moving onwards, I did something else. So what I did was I imported an image and I then put it inside this artboard and I have disabled the view for it. So as you can see, the image is put here. So let me re-enable it. So as you can see, the image it has now been put over here. So now if I were to, let's say, select the image, use the eraser tool, nothing will happen. I cannot erase it, erase parts of it. Now, why I want to erase it comes in later. So I'm going to select it and then change the opacity for it. Let me keep the opacity to at 50% over here. And as you can see, there's the opacity over there. Now I'm going to use the rectangle tool over here and create a rectangle like this. Now, once that rectangle is created, I'm going to give the no fill and add a stroke to it. Add a black color stroke to it and increase the stroke size. There you go. I added a stroke. You can use the color guide or from colors over here as well. You can also use the swatches as well or the brushes as well to add a brush. So let me add a brush instead of anything else. So let me add a brush to it, so for some stylistic. Now I'm going to change the, there you go. Now I'm going to put it above our image over here, but below everything else, and then deselect everything else. Now, as you can see, we have our design over here, but I want to select the rectangle again. Select the rectangle again, and then increase its scale a bit. There you go. That looks perfect. And also the image as well. So I'm going to select the image and increase it so that it fits our. There you go. Now I want to select the lines, not this one. Yeah, these are the lines, and I want to increase it so that it fits our rectangle on the side. There you go. Now we have a complete design to it. Complete t-shirt design, as you can see. So now let's go ahead and export this into our t-shirt mockup in Photoshop to see how it looks like. And for more information, the image that I use, you can just Google New York City and download any kind of image. If you want to add a color image, you can. What I did, I downloaded a black and white image. Okay, I downloaded a black and white image and I imported it into Illustrator. You can just go to Google, right click on that image, you can copy that image and come back to Illustrator. Then you can press Ctrl V to directly paste it. You do not need to download it directly. You could do that as a shortcut. So as I've done that, now let's go ahead, open up Photoshop to see how our t-shirt mockup looks like. Now here we are at our Photoshop mockup. So let me go ahead and go to our design, and let me go ahead and first disable it. Now let me go to Illustrator. Now once I'm at Illustrator, I'm going to select everything. I'm going to copy them by pressing down Ctrl+C. And once that's copied to my clipboard, I'll come back to Photoshop and I'm going to press Ctrl+V. And as you can see, it's being imported from Illustrator to Photoshop here. So there are several options: pay, small object, pixels, path, shape layer. Let's go for pixels. And I'm going to press OK, and we have our design over here. Now I'm going to realign it so that it's at the center of our design over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and close this. And then you can go ahead and press yes to save it. Or you can add more filters, you can add other things as well. So I'm going to, let's go to filters, let's go to stylize, let's go to extrude, press OK to see how that looks like. And as you can see, it doesn't look that much good. So you can go ahead and use a lot of filters over here. You can add blur, or you can add smudge as well for using the smudge tool and other tools as well. Here in Photoshop, you can do whatever you want to this design here in this layer for however you're liking compared to Illustrator. So let's go ahead and see how it looks like on a t-shirt first. So I'm going to go ahead and press yes. And as you can see, it looks like this. Now the add design over here, once that's selected, you can use the move tool to move it a bit. But that's okay. I do not want to move it. I like it however it is. Now, as you can see, it looks okay. It looks stylish. Now, I would want this to look a bit more blending. So I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to go ahead, select this, right click on it, and select the layer on the design. Right click on it. You go to the blending options. Now wait for the blending options to come up. There you go, the blending options came up. Now I'm going to go ahead and change the blending modes to see how it looks like. So if I were to give darken, and then as you can see, darken looks like that. If a normal looks like this. So darken will make the dark parts come up. I don't like the dark parts that are showing up here, but the dark parts also give like a depth to the image that I have put as the background. Multiply as well. You have color burn, which gives like a highlight. You have a linear burn. Linear burn looks more realistic. Sorry, linear burn. So if I were to compare linear burn and normal, linear burn looks more realistic. Because as you can see in the normal part, the white outlines, they have a much more brighter highlight than the t-shirt itself. So we could go for linear burn. That gives the white outlines on the text and the stars the same highlight as the t-shirt. So let's go for linear burn and press OK. There you go. As you can see, it looks fabulous now. Now in Photoshop as well, under the design, like for example in Illustrator, I gave this border, right? I gave this border. Now in Photoshop, you could do one thing. In Illustrator, you could go erase the rectangle, keep the image, then come back here in Photoshop. And as you imported it as pixels, it's importing it as an image. So you can use the eraser tool to erase parts of it. So for example, if I were to come back here over my image over here, use the eraser tool. There you go. And then let's select a soft round brush and increase. And as you can see, I can erase the sides of the image over here. Now I want to zoom in a bit because we have our text over here. I do not want to mess that up, so I'm going to go ahead and erase that part of the border only. There you go. Also here as well. Let me decrease it so that I don't mistakenly erase. Now I can go ahead and select this brush over here and zoom in a much more bit for more details. I do not want to erase like the white stroke outline of the star there. There's a black part, black option. There you go. That looks better. I'm going to erase these parts. Now I'm going to go back to my previous brush, increase the width of it, and there you go. I can now freely erase. I'm just going to give it like a faded effect. And once that's done, I can go ahead and click on that, press yes, and there you go. Voila. That also looks wonderful as well. And as you can see, the bottom part is still showing, so I'm going to go ahead, erase the bottom part over here. There you go. And go ahead and save it again. There you go, that's fixed. The corners on the top parts are also showing, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the top side. Now once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and close it, saving it. And as you can see, that's saved as well. Now as you can see, that is how our t-shirt design now looks like. You can change it however you like. You can add new designs as you like. You can add a location-based design. You could add a text-based design. You could add a slogan-based design. Anything that goes with the theme of where you want this t-shirt to be selling, that will make it a hot topic or hot selling t-shirt. So that is all for this lesson. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye.